goodness. I see people making connections. Where can we find water? Think. Tell the people next to you.
It could be like underground. Yeah, and also in rivers and lakes. You could also find it in a cactus, but it'd like be really hard to get there. Also, they could form some small streams in the desert when it rains a lot.
I was really excited when Arlington Public Schools extended the opportunity to be matched with a scientist and engineer. It's open every year, and so any teacher who's interested in doing this can just request to the APS Science Office, may I be involved next year, and be matched up with a scientist or engineer.
Well, this is our Scientists in the Classroom program, which is a partnership with AAAS, and our scientists and STEM professionals come in and share their experiences and expertise. It's just a wonderful opportunity for our students and our teachers, and they get to interact with these scientists for the entire school year. And this is one of those hands-on experience days that we hope that occurs every day in all of our science classrooms.
Originally, when the new science SOLs came out from Virginia about water resources and reservoirs and wells, I didn't have a good way of teaching that in a hands-on way. And so Dr. Jessup built a well for the kids to actually use, and that made the whole understanding of groundwater and aquifers just so much more exciting.
And now it's full of water. So now you crank it up. Go ahead. We're going to fill this cup with 3 scoops of water from the bucket. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, now pour that into there. I didn't think it was a big deal, but the kids love it. And the fact that they really love it, filling the bucket, emptying it out, and everybody wants to do it.
What Dr. Jessup and I often do is we look at the SOLs, and then we decide how to make it manageable.
Okay, so look.
Being able to divide into small groups and rotate the kids through is a great way of teaching the hands-on science.
What an improvement.
I think now, with post-COVID, the idea is to get the kids back into being excited about science.
It's cool to have a real engineer just enter your school when you're in 3rd grade. You get to learn new stuff from him. Since he's a pro, you start learning stuff, and then you'll turn out to be a pro when you're older. But when you get to do it up close, especially when you're in elementary school, it's really fun. So it makes me feel really lucky. It's very important for me to learn engineering right now, so when I'm older, I will already know how to build stuff.
Okay, the first thing we look at is a root mass. Do you see all this? These are roots. What is this? You can touch it. You think it's a worm? What do you think it is? Looks like a carrot. This is what's called a primary root. Primary roots are for structure and help provide stability for the plant to grow above the soil.
These kids are very intuitive, they are very intelligent, and they come up with a lot of solutions and alternatives to the problems or challenges we give them.
Tighten it back here, and then...
Yeah, okay, let's see. That's curious. Let's try that. When a kid comes up with a suggestion that I haven't even thought of, it's pretty impressive, and it happens a lot. I work alone pretty much putting these things together, and the kids are my feedback, on how to make improvements.
It's important not to always just give them the answer, but to let them explore. Any answer is fine. It could be incorrect or correct, just as long as they're engaging their brains and trying.
It's so important to have the hands-on because it engages the students, and students struggle to learn if they're not engaged.
Kids are oftentimes tactile learners, and so when they are doing anything with their hands, they are more likely to remember it.
What does it smell like? It smells good, doesn't it? The thing we try to do is engage all the senses of the student so they can see and touch, hear maybe, even smelling the spices that come from the rainforest.
When they can touch things, they remember things better.
So the hands-on is really a great way to start. And then in Project Discovery, we really believe in interdisciplinary learning. And so let's read about that. What charts can tell us about that? And make the whole big picture.
We all must help to reduce deforestation.
We have a need for a diverse group in STEM. And so a lot of these students, they know about engineering from a young age. And so they can see themselves as an engineer.
I was with the Forest Service for 28 years. Had no idea that there weren't other Black female foresters. I want these kids to see in science a person of color and a woman and somebody who has, where my cane is, some physical challenges, that we can all be useful.
But when I first saw her, I was shocked. Like, oh my God, she's so famous. Oh, she's here, and I'm just so happy that we can have someone like her in our class.
All of these are your poison dart frogs.
Smells like tea bags.
I think it's important for us to see people who look like us when we aspire to be something. I don't fight for diversity just because, I want one of each kind at the table. I believe that the more diverse brains you have, the more opinions, the more alternatives you develop.
The women bring a different perspective. A lot of times you get the girls together on a project like this, they just say, oh, okay, that didn't work, let's try this. Instead of walking off, in a huff.
It's cool because we get to see all the stuff that the engineer does and build, and we get to test it. It actually helps because I think I want to be an engineer because it kind of seems cool.
My passion in life is to get kids, especially kids of color, interested in science and technology, STEM or STEAM, and get them to pursue careers in STEM or STEAM.
I really like engineering, and the best part of Discovery Lab is that you do engineering, and that's my favorite part. I want to work for NASA because you get to build stuff that can help the astronauts survive up in space.
This definitely kind of tells me what I'm interested in. So it's always really creative in there and really cool. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that.
The kids are great. The kids are really great. Some kids will come up to you, Dr. Jeff, can I help you clean up? I never heard that, It's great. Dr. Sullivan will tell you, a lot of these kids come back and say, well, I'm starting engineering at so-and-so university. It's beautiful.
It just is so meaningful to me as a teacher when students come back and share what they remember learning in Project Discovery.
We are, and you get a piece. Can you separate and find your primary or civility root?
It's a beautiful thing. I'm so blessed to be able to go in the classroom and work with these youngsters. I really want them to get excited about science and follow their dreams. And God knows if I can make it as a scientist, they can make it too.